Over the last 30 years, there have been few countries that have so dominated the headlines the way that North Korea has. North Korea is a relatively small country, a population of just around 25 million, so right around that of Australia. And yet, the fact that they are the last vestige of the Cold War, that they share a demilitarized zone and a still hot war border, if you will, with South Korea, a very important treaty ally of the United States and a very important economic partner of Australia, it's got a lot of attention. The real area in which they've gotten more attention, however, is in their efforts to develop long-range missile capabilities and more concerning, a nuclear weapons program. And it's in that area that they warrant more attention than any other regional country or regional conflict, because the impacts of what North Korea does are global in nature. Ever since the end of World War II and the first use of nuclear weapons, the international community has kind of wrestled with the idea of how do we can't put the genie back in the bottle, but how do we control the spread and the flow of nuclear weapons and nuclear weapons-related technology around the globe? And the conclusion was a broad international agreement known as the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Most countries in the world have signed up to this treaty, not everyone. North Korea, under some duress from China and then the Soviet Union, joined up in 1985. Took 7 years to negotiate what was called the Nuclear Safeguards Agreement with the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA. And since that point, as they began to develop their own nuclear programs, as they worked with Pakistani scientists to get technology for lots of different pathways to develop nuclear capabilities, they have been the target of international sanctions, of UN Security Council sanctions resolutions, of international concern. And the real reason there is not just because of whatever direct threat that we might feel from North Korea. So why do we care about North Korea? Well, obviously, Seoul is a very important economic partner of Australia's. They are our fourth largest trading partner. There are tens of thousands of Australians living there, and it's a vibrant democratic society, all within 60 kilometers of the DMZ with North Korea, and all within range of existing North Korean artillery, tanks, etc. The world's fifth largest standing army, right along the 100-kilometer border, within 100 kilometers of the border with South Korea. In a similar way, we care about them because their missiles have range to hit Japan, another important trading partner, another important democratic society. But beyond that, beyond the immediate threat, and even the threat that as North Korean missiles gain capability and can go further and potentially reach U.S. bases in Guam or even the U.S. mainland, or even down here in Australia, there is, of course, direct threats. The threat of a missile strike, of some immediate war action on the Korean Peninsula. But beyond that, beyond the direct threats, there's deep concerns about what North Korea says for the international system. We talk about a rules-based order or the liberal rules-based international system. We tend to think that's about trade and how economic activity is organized. It's also about our security. So what I was referring to earlier, that Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, that together with the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty and a whole range of similar treaties related to chemical weapons and missiles and missile technology are all designed to keep the world a safer place by limiting the spread or the proliferation of missile technology and nuclear technology. And the fact that North Korea, in contravention of various UN Security Council sanctions resolutions, in contraventions of its own signed commitments, continues to develop its nuclear weapons program and its long-range missile programs, undermines that rules-based order, undermines the rules-based order upon which Australia relies, but also the broader globe. And so that's why there's so much international tension on North Korea, not just because of what it does in its own neighborhood, but because of the implications for its actions on the globe.